newly redesigned Spirit Tower. If you were here in past years, you've seen it over there. Now it's over here. Now it's more comfy and more clear for some amazing storytelling. So I want to introduce the Story Smorgasbord MC, Eric.
Yay, thank you, Kevin. Thank you all for being here. Happy fair, happy day. How are y'all feeling? Can I get some feedback? Ooh, a little bit. You could do better than that. Come on, bring it out. Yes. Oh, that is so good. So there is a wonderful, beautiful thing about storytelling is that we got folks stepping up here, taking the courageous step of sharing some vulnerable stories. Sometimes they're truthful, sometimes they're fiction, sometimes it's poetry, sometimes it's a play. We'll find out. It's a smorgasbord. We're going to feast today, baby. So the beautiful thing you could do as an audience is participate. Shout back. Give us the things. Give us your energy. Laugh, cheer, snap, go, oh my God, they said what? Give me all of it. We want all of that. So let's go ahead and practice a little bit. I'm gonna give you some phrases, and I want you to practice letting yourself just have a response, right? She came up and told me I was ugly. She said, what? I know. She came up and told me I was beautiful. I know. She came up and told me I stunk. Yes, that was the right answer. Yes, so this is have fun. As an audience, we want you to have as much fun as the storytellers that are up here, okay? Thank you, Kemi, for that beautiful introduction. My name's Eric. I get to be the MC for you today as we're going through these different stories we get to listen to. We have a variety of storytellers will be popping up here. I'll introduce them as we go along. But I'm going to start off with a story that will be a little bit of a participatory story, just kind of get us all in the mood together. So, first of all, I would like you all to please close your eyes or look up into the trees or someplace where you can just be with yourself. And I have a simple question for you to reflect on that I hope is somewhat simple. What is a gift you have given to this world? Let yourself just define that. One thing. Oh, I love that one. Oh, I saw that when you walked in. I could feel it. That one. If anybody would please shout out some of the gifts you've given to this world. Music. Laughter. Sarcasm. A child. Hugs. Joy. Beautiful. All of these things, what rich things that you have brought into this world. First of all, thank you. This is important because it's going to be relevant to my story, where we go with this story. Right before, about a month ago, I chose to walk the Camino de Santiago. Has anybody ever heard of the Camino de Santiago? It's fantastic. I did the Camino Portuguese, which goes from Porto up to Santiago, which is in the northwest corner of Spain. It's about a 170-mile walk. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to get on the trail and I'm going to give myself a meditation question for every day. And it's going to be a nice little way for me to just kind of stay with myself and discover some things about myself. And the very first question, which I thought, what a great intro question, is what are 5 gifts you've given to this world? I started walking, and as I was walking, I was like, okay, 5 gifts. You can come up with 5 things, that's easy. So I'm walking, I'm doing my thing, my backpack's on my back, and I go, okay, you are very kind. You're a nice person. You go out and you try to be really nice to people. Except when you're not nice to people. Sometimes you can actually be really mean. Actually, just the other day, you were really mean to that person. Maybe I don't think that you're a nice person. No, I don't. Okay, I'm not a nice person. That's fine. Okay, I'll keep walking. What else can I think of? Oh, I'm responsible. I am a responsible person. I have a job that I have to be responsible in, and I organize things, and yeah, I'm really responsible, except when I get really busy. When I get really busy and there's too many things on my plate, I'm not a very responsible person. No, actually, I really dropped the ball on that thing, and no, I'm not. Okay, so I'm not a responsible person. That's okay. That's good. There's a lot more gifts I'd give it. I'm not a responsible person. I'm not a kind person. Okay, that's fine. Okay, keep walking. You got this. You can think of something. You're really generous with your love. Yeah, you're really generous with your love. I think even when you don't like people, you still love them because that's the type of person you are. I can't fight that. Okay, Okay, I got one. I am generous with my love. Great. I went through a list of about 20 other things, and every single one I would finish and I'd go, well, no, not that one. No, not really. And I got to the end of my day, walking 20 miles, and I show up to the hostel and had a just unpleasant experience. I was sore, I was tired, and I sit down and I go, well, this was a garbage day. You had to come up with 5 things. You got one. Okay, great. Day 1 failed. What do I do? And I was tired, and I look out the window and I see a hill, and I go, I know I'm tired, but I'm just gonna walk up that hill because I need to just like get out of here. So I walk up the hill, and at the whole walk up, I go, you're generous with your love. You are generous with your love. You're generous with your love to other people. You are generous with your love to other people. And I got up there, and it was an old monastery that had this beautiful lookout. And right when I sat down, the sun was setting. And a memory came into my brain of someone I had talked to before I walked the Camino who said, one of my favorite meditations is to watch the sun set and follow it with my eyes. And I tried, and I couldn't do it because I was so distracted with how much I had disappointed myself that day. And so instead, I switched it. I said, okay, you're generous with your love to others. What if you were generous with your love to yourself? And I chose, I chose that day to look at 10 parts of myself I hate. And instead of saying, I hate you, I decided to say, I love you. I started with my stomach. I hate my stomach. That is okay. But what I did was I chose that day to say, I love you, stomach. And I tried it the first time, and I went, I love you, stomach. No, you don't. No, try that again. I love you, stomach. Almost there. Okay, one more time. I love you, stomach. And I believed myself. In that moment, I loved my stomach. I thought about the parts of me in my history that I didn't love. I thought about the moments in my life where I hurt someone and I didn't want to. I thought about the moments that I went through the hardest times in my life. And I chose to tell those parts of me that have made me who I am today, someone who loves generously, that I love those things because if were it not for them, I would not be who I am today. So I have a new challenge for all of you who are out there. I'd like you to close your eyes again, or look at the trees, or zone out someplace in the space. And I want you to think of a part of you that you hate. This is a hard thing. Opt into this. You can opt out if it's not appropriate for you right now. And I want you to take a deep breath, and on the exhale, tell that part you love it. I love you. Did you believe yourself? Try it again. Close your eyes. Think about that part. Take a deep breath. I love you. You might have to try it about 10 more times, and that is A-okay. But the fact that we're trying to do it this first time is the first step towards truly loving ourselves. Thank you. Thank you for sticking with me through that story. We have some incredible storytellers today that are going to be coming up and sharing some incredible vulnerable truths. I love them. I love them so much. I love all of you for being here. I love myself for being here too. Heck yeah. Let's go ahead and welcome up our first storyteller, Rachel Mars. Coming up, Rachel.
I'm a small person. Can you hear me? But I love that I'm a small person after that. Thank you. How is everyone? This is my first fair ever. It's very exciting. I'm here all the way from London, living in Eugene for a year, and everyone said, you're in Eugene for a year, you have to do fair, and so here I am, so thank you for having me. Yeah, nice, right? I want to tell you a true story. It happens in 3 different time periods. It happens in 1939 in Liverpool Street Station in London. It happens in 2010 in the back of a taxi, also in London. And it's happening right now here at my first country fair. So my grandparents made it out of Nazi Germany, sorry to start with that, but it's true, in 1939. And they were on their way here. They were going to come to New York, and they got stuck in the UK and thought, well, we'll just make our home there. And at that time, when you arrived, if you were a Jewish refugee, you got given this little blue book. And all Jewish refugees got one. And it was called, When You Are in England, Helpful Information and guidance for every refugee. And it had really helpful information and guidance in it. So throughout this story, I'm going to read you about 7 or 8 pieces of guidance from this story that was given to my grandparents. This is how they learnt to be English. So the first one was, do not expect a warm welcome. The Englishman takes some time before he opens his home wide to strangers. That is true. Not like Eugene, but it's true. So it's 2010 and I'm in the back of a taxi in London. And the driver looks up in the little rear view mirror and says, what place is this that I have picked you up from? So I looked in the driver's mirror from the back seat and I see just a strip of face. So it's the strip that they normally black out on photos when they're trying to protect someone's identity. But here it's just the strip. And in that strip I see really glorious, oddly green eyes, a wide nose, a big moustache and olive skin. What place is this, says the driver. And I say, what, this? And he says, yeah, this place. I'm often sent here to pick people up. What place is it? And I say, oh, this is a community centre. He says, oh, it's very small. I said, well, the community centre is coming. We haven't built it yet. The actual building isn't finished, but it's just like the office of a community centre. Oh, he says, what kind of community is it? Or what kind? Yeah, what kind of community is it? And I looked at him and I made some terrible assumptions. And I said, helpful information too, for people in England. Spend your spare time learning English and the correct pronunciation. People here do not enjoy people who do not speak English properly. Number 3, do not speak in a loud voice. Quietness is valued. How do you like driving the cab, I say. Oh, medium, he says. I say, how long have you been working in London? He says, oh, 10 years. I said, where were you before that? He says, oh, I moved here in 2004 from Kabul in Afghanistan. I got fed up. There were too many wars. It was too sad. I said, oh, how do you like it here? He said, well, medium. It is better, though. People here are very quiet, unless they're drunk. Helpful information 4. Do not criticize English regulations or the way things are done. Helpful information 5. The Englishman greatly dislikes ostentation, loudness of dress, loudness of manner, or unconventionality of dress or manner. They would hate it here. Number 6, wait to be spoken to. Asking too many questions can be considered impertinent. So we're back in the cab and I say, oh, Kabul. And he says, yes. And he says, where are you from? And I say, oh, me, I'm from Archway, which for you people is like near Arsenal, the football club in North London. And he says, oh, but where are you from originally? And I say, oh, me, I'm from Acton, which is in West London. And he looks at me in the rearview mirror and he says, no, but before that, where are you from? And I said, oh, well, before that, I was born at University College Hospital in London. And he says, no, before that. And I said, well, my dad grew up in Blackpool, which is in the north of England. And he says, oh, funny, because you don't look like British people. You could be Lebanese. And I say, oh, all right. Before that, my grandparents were German and Lithuanian and Russian. They fled. Too much war. Too sad. Helpful information 7. Do not take away from British workers whatever their skills, and do not affect the workforce here by taking employment at less than a customary wage. The place I picked you up, he says. What community centre is it? And I say, what community, he says. And I look at him and I say, okay, it's a Jewish community centre. Well, it's Jewish. It's for everyone, really. And then the taxi went completely silent. And I'm stuck at the roundabout at Old Street, which is another reference you won't get, but it's a very, very big roundabout. And the lights are red, and it's quiet. And the taxi driver twists round from his chair to look at me. And he says, "You are a Jew." And I said, "Yeah." Helpful information 8. Remain respectfully in the background. Do not attempt to be the center of attention. "You're a Jew," he said. "Yes," he said. "Sunrise, sunset, sunrise, sunset," he said. "Sunrise, sunset?" I said. "Yeah, sunrise, sunset. Tradition, tradition, matchmaker, matchmaker, make me a match. To life, l'chaim," he said. To life, l'chaim," I said. He said, "Yeah. Look, when I first moved here to my tiny flat in London, there was one DVD. Fiddler on the Roof. That is how I learned my English, from Fiddler on the Roof. I love those people. What a great story. It's so sad. I've never seen Fiddler on the Roof," I said. "You have never seen Fiddler on the Roof?" he said. "What kind of Jew are you?" He said, "Listen, it goes like this. I sing, 'Is this the little girl I carried? Is this the little boy up?' And then you sing, 'I don't remember getting older. When?' And then I sing, 'When did she get to be a beauty? When did she get to be?' And then you sing, 'Wasn't it yesterday when you were small?'" Helpful information 9. Try to observe and follow the manners and customs of the country in social and business relations. He says, again, "Is this the little girl I carried? Is this the little boy at play?" And then you sing. Then he says, "Let's do it together. Sunrise, sunset." Guys, if you want to carry on, or folks, just do sunrise, sunset on repeat. Sunrise, sunset. Lovely. Sunrise, sunset. Helpful information 10. Spread courage by word and deed. There is a new and better future before you. We open the windows in the taxi and it speeds through the London streets. It goes past Indian restaurants. It goes past Iranian shisha bars. It goes past Irish pubs. It goes past Polish bakeries. And suddenly we're in the Oregon Country Fair together. Together, he says. Sunrise, sunset. Sunrise, sunset. Sunrise, sunset. Thank you very much.
Yes, let's keep those applause going. Woohoo! We're so fortunate to have Rachel here with us this year at their first country fair. They're also just in Oregon for the 1 year, so we have the gift of having this 1 year with this incredible storyteller. I'm so glad you're here, Rachel. Thanks for being here. Real quick, just a point of order. Is there an Annie Price out there? Annie Price, if you would like to raise your hand. Annie Price, going once, going twice. Annie Price, going once, going twice. Annie Price, going, nope, no, okay, that's good. We are gonna go ahead and move on to our next storyteller, another one of our core storytellers who's here with us. So if you come back each day, you'll see myself, Rachel, and Aaron coming back up on the stage with a range of other storytellers making their appearances. So please welcome to the stage, Aaron Smart!
Wow, thank you for that lovely introduction, Eric. Hello, my name is Aaron Smart, and I want to ask you, is there anyone here who is familiar with a little place called the Alvord Desert? Yeah, we have a couple, not a lot, but yeah, a little bit of that. So, my first introduction to the Alvord Desert was my very best friend in the world when we were growing up. He's always been into maps. And so he was into maps in such a way that it wasn't just finding the places that he already knew or had been to and their relationships to each other. He had this old map of Oregon that had a lot of geographical features in it. And for him, that was like reading a book. So he would just look at the map of these places. He's like 8. He has no idea what these places look like, what they feel like, why they are there, who is there. But in the southeast corner of Oregon, sharing a border with Nevada, is a little place called the Alvord Desert. And he said, I want to go there, to that desert one day when we were young. And it turns out that's not the worst way to plan a trip. Because when we got older, our whole friend group was getting older, moves were being planned, and we love each other so much. We love spending this time together. And we said, you know what? Let's go to that Alvord Desert. Before people move away and all that, let's go have this lovely time together. Now, the Alvord Desert is a dried out lake bed. And if you've been to a dried out lake bed, you would know that that ground is silty but dry. And it is all cracked and very, very, very flat. Also to know about the Alvord Desert is it is one of the places on this continent with the lowest light pollution. So you have this flat, dry lake bed next to the Steens Mountain and no light. And so we go to the Alvord Desert. We all pack up together and we get there and the sun is setting over the Steens Mountain as Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds is playing, and we can say that that was appropriate. So the sun is going down, the darkness starts, the music is playing, and we start to undress. We feel so appropriate with our bare feet being on this interesting, cracked but soft ground. Music is playing, and we look up at the stars, and it is as if they are hanging over us, dripping down onto us. And it's wonderful. And we're naked, and I didn't understand what it meant to not be able to see your hand in front of your face, but truly, this was a new kind of darkness where this sense that I rely on so much is gone. It is absolutely meaningless, and I'm looking up. There's no moon in the sky, but only stars. I'm meditating on that fact as I hear something in this vast expanse. And his footsteps. They get faster. And it is my friend running. He is a linebacker. He is built about like this, and he is in a dead sprint, and I feel the wind pass me as he runs by me, and I thought to myself, how ridiculous. He can't see where he is going. And I yelled at him, Cole, you're going to run into something. And he says, Aaron, there's nothing here to run into. And I've always been a very fearful person. I'm always very cautious about getting hurt, harming my body, because I have these knees that are really weak. And I happen to be skinny, but I hope that no one will mistake me for any kind of athlete, because I am not that. But I trust a little bit, and I start to walk. And I'm just walking, and I can't see anything. And I think, you know, maybe this is a growth moment for me. Maybe I can be brave, and I start to speed up. And I think, where else are you going to take this chance to run in pitch black, to sprint naked in the desert in perfect darkness? And so I ran. I said yes. I was terrified. I'm shaking as I'm running as fast as I possibly can, probably faster than I ever have, because I really do not like to run. And it felt lovely. It felt like home. It felt like taking this chance with these people that I love in this beautiful, magic place. And I was safe. There was nothing to run into, so I gave everything I had. I ran so fast until I hit the only thing in the entire desert to run into. I stubbed my toe very hard on what I pulled out and later discovered was a tent stake, caked in what must have been generations of rust. And I thought to myself, what does this mean? What are the odds in these square miles of desert where nothing is here that I found the only thing to run into? I have this internal moment where I'm like, what? Oh, should I not have done that? Oh, you should just trust yourself. You know, you're always so cautious. And then I thought about it a little bit more. And I grabbed the spike. I put it in my bag. I took it home with me. And at the end of the night, I was still glad that I ran. Thank you.
Woo, thank you, Aaron. Can we get another continuous round of applause? May we all run when the instinct is to run. May we do it safely without spikes in our way. This is the blessing we send upon today. I'm a poet and I didn't even know it. I'm sorry that I'm so plosive on this mic. So we're gonna go and mix things up a little bit for this next one. You've been hearing some narrative storytelling. We have a slightly different version of storytelling. We are gonna have a play for you in this moment. So can I please invite my actors onto the stage? Come, fill the stage with your voices. So we have a play called A Blue Hydrangea. This was written by me, so please enjoy it. So we have wonderful Aaron right here who will be playing the color blue. We have Rachel who will be playing pink. And we have Alex and myself who will be playing other characters. You'll see. So I'm gonna go ahead and get us started. Mic transition, here we are. For all of those who are out there, what we need to begin is a morning sound. Can I get some bird tweets? Tweet, tweet. Oh, yes. Can I get some? Can we get some? The Little Mermaid is in the morning, right? Yeah. So just keep those tweet bird sounds going as we begin our play and set our scene. Lights up on a garden. A hydrangea bush with multiple heads of blossoms is seen center stage. All of them pink except one which is blue. The blossoms are asleep. The sun rises at start of play, waking the blossoms from their slumber.
Good morning, world.
Good morning, sun.
Good morning, dirt.
Good morning, butterfly.
Good morning, little ants.
Good morning, lilies and roses and jasmine.
Good morning, cherry tree. Good morning, kale.
Good morning, family.
Good morning, oh my grove.
What is it?
What has happened to you?
What? Is my stamen showing?
No, it's, I can't believe it.
What is it? Am I infected? Is it aphids? Oh God, get them off! Get them off!
Stop fussing, stop flinching.
Out with it! You look like you've seen a slug.
No, it's not a pest, it's a, well, you are blue.
What?
As blue as the morning sky, dear. You're blue through and through, every petal. I've never seen anything like it. I can hardly believe it's you. Look, there, in the bird bath.
Wow.
Did you eat something?
Nothing out of the ordinary, just water from the ground and, carbon from the air. Same water and air as you, I think.
Well, you must have had a paint from the house dripped on you.
No, not that I recall.
Good gardener in heaven. You must have done something. I've never heard of a hydrangea just turning blue out of the blue.
I mean, there are blue hydrangeas, right?
Sure, I mean, I've heard of blue hydrangeas, but we are pink hydrangeas. The good Carol planted us as such, and no hydrangea I've ever seen in this backyard has ever been blue.
Are you sure I wasn't always blue and we just never looked close enough?
You are being absurd.
Well, I don't know.
You look ridiculous.
I think I look nice.
Nice.
Handsome, even.
Handsome? A hydrangea? Handsome?
Yeah.
I have never, in all my days, heard of a hydrangea being handsome. Beautiful, of course. Pretty, always. Stunning, I mean, I've heard it once or twice. But handsome, I have never.
You don't have to be so cruel.
I'm sorry, dear. It's just so unnatural.
I think I wished for this.
Wished for this to be blue? What on earth would you wish to be blue for?
I don't know. I guess I've always wanted to be blue. Like, since I was a tiny bud, there was something in me that never felt pink, you know?
That's against the laws of nature. Carol planted us to match the yellow irises and the red poppies. We are the splash of pink in this garden. You know how she likes warm colors.
I know, and I don't wish to upset Carol, bless her greatness. But I can't help but feel that this was meant to be. I mean, I've had dreams, so many dreams for years, about looking up into the sky and seeing my reflection in its beautiful hue. I've had visions while we slumber in the cold of winter, visions of waking up absolutely turquoise and looking down at the time creeping below us to hear songs of oohs and ahs as each little white bud tells me how much they love the new view. Maybe I manifested this.
Ugh, flowers don't manifest. We blossom, wilt, hibernate, repeat. We follow nature's natural cycle. We only live because her greatness, Carol, planted us here. To manifest would be a malicious betrayal of her great design.
Perhaps her greatness will love this. Perhaps her greatness always wished for me to be blue.
Flowers are not meant to change color. Flowers are meant to stay the hue that the good gardener planted at time of purchase. You are breaking the laws of lawn care.
I can't help if I'm blue.
But you wished for this. You wished to break Carol's heart. How dare you?
You think this will break Carol's heart?
Oh, absolutely. There's not a single blue flower in this garden. You'll stick out like a sore thumb. Oh, I can hear those terrible chrysanthemums now. A blue flower, why I never, ooh. You and we will be the laughing stock of the yard. Thank compost, we're in the back. Oh, this is why. This is why Carol put us here. She knew we couldn't handle the curbside.
You can't mean that. Carol put us back here because she spends more time here. She put us back here because we're her favorite.
We were her favorites. Imagine when she comes to water us.
She might really like it.
Or maybe she'll chop your head right off. Into the incinerator with you. Or all of us. What if she takes all of us? One rotten head in the bunch. Soon the whole bush will turn.
Just because I turned blue doesn't mean every pink hydrangea will turn blue. You clearly don't want to be blue, and you are pink as pink can be.
Because I have my wits about me. Because I'm strong. But what about those new buds on the edge? They're so young and impressionable. They will surely turn blue.
It took me 6 years to turn blue. And I never wanted to be pink. Everyone around me was pink, so I just followed suit. I didn't know I had a choice. I think I've been pretending to be pink this whole time.
You take that back.
No. I really think that I was pretending this whole time to be something I'm not. I'm blue. I'm a blue blossom. I'm a handsome blue blossom.
Oh my Zippo.
Hey, backyard. Look over here! Check out the newest edition!
You shut your mouth this instant!
Oh, they're going to see eventually. Might as well get it out of the way. Hey! Hey! Rhododendrons!
No, you stop it! Stop it! If I hear one more word out of you, I will break your stem myself.
You wouldn't.
I'll kick you right out of this bush, you hear me?
Well, who put you in charge?
I am the oldest bud on this hedge. I was blossoming long before you were even a thought in Carol's heart.
You said we all lived in Carol's great vision before we bloomed.
Of course, you did. We all did. That doesn't give you senior. I can never say that. I couldn't say it in rehearsal, and I can't say it now. This word. Seniority! Should we do it together? Of course, we did. We all did. That doesn't give you seniority. Thank you. This is my bush, and so long as I'm in blossom, you'll follow my rules. Now you unruffle your leaves, or so help me.
Or what? You'll chop me out of the family? Leave a gaping hole in this bush? You think Carol will be happy when she comes out to see we're asymmetrical?
Carol, grant me patience.
Oh, sibling, just look at me. Please, look me in the eyes. Don't you see it?
See what?
Look deeper. You must see it. It's me. This has always been me.
No, but I'm so conflicted.
I know it's hard. I know this is different. It's scary for me too.
Stop doing my emotional labor for me.
I just want you to see me and accept me for the blueness that I am. This is me.
I know it's you. It's just, it's gonna take some time for me to adjust.
Good morning, flowers.
Holy peepers, it's her greatness. It's Carol. Oh no. Oh no.
It's Carol.
She's gonna freak out. She's gonna lose her mind. She's gonna rip us right from the ground. She's gonna kill us all.
It's going to be fine. Everything will be fine.
This is the end. It was great knowing you, world. I just wish I had more time. I wish I could watch the butterflies burst from their cocoons just one more time.
We're not going to die. I think.
I think she'll stop watering us. She'll make us suffer for betraying her.
Shh. Here she comes.
Oh my word. What do we have here? We're dead. Why, you've turned blue. Oh, little one, I can't believe it. George, get out here.
Oh, it's happening. She's getting George so he can dig us up. I knew it.
She wouldn't.
I knew it was unnatural. I knew she would hate it.
They're coming back. Calm down. You'll be fine.
May Carol have mercy on our souls.
It's turned blue.
Look at it. My word, it has.
It's so
Handsome.
like it was always meant to be blue. I love it.
Like I was always meant to be.
Yay! Thank you, friends. Keep it going for the Blue Hydrangea, friends. Thank you all for being such wonderful participants. I heard those oohs, those ahs, those gasps, those All of it. Very good. Keep it coming. And we get to bring up one of our guest storytellers for today. I am so excited to bring up Nicole Merrill. Oh, yes! I love this! Nicole Merrill will be coming up and will be sharing a wonderful original story called Screaming Eels of the Long Tom Watershed. Woo! Let's keep it going. Woo!
You all want to hear a story about eels? Yeah! I see. We have some eel fans in the audience. Yeah, all right. Fabulous, because I got a story about eels today. My name's Nicole. You can call me Lydia Lane. And today I'm going to be telling a tall tale about the screaming eels of the Long Tom. Now, a tall tale is simply a moderately true story with some exaggerations. And you as the audience get to decide what parts of this story are exaggerations. So, our story begins today with the Long Tom River. Now we've got fans of the Long Tom in the audience, excellent. Now, many of you think of the Long Tom as a slow, lazy river that couldn't possibly excite anybody. But I want you to imagine a different kind of Long Tom River. I want you to imagine the Long Tom of decades past. A fierce, powerful river. A river with rapids. I want you to imagine those rapids churning. I want you to hear the rapids crashing on the rocks. We got it? Feel the mist on your face? Yes. Shh. Excellent. I want you to imagine a Long Tom so powerful that if you saw it walking down the road, you would avert your eyes, turn around and say, "Not today." Okay? Because that is where our story begins today. And that is where we find our adventurer, Riley. Now, thank you. There she is, get a good look at her. Now, Riley is a legend. Or at least she used to back in her day. She's not doing so great right now. But back in her day, Riley was an international legend for her adventures. One time, she saved a shipwrecked crew in the middle of the Atlantic from sharks by wrestling the sharks with her bare hands. Another time, she saved a child from the clutches of a polar bear by choking the polar bear out again with her bare hands. Riley has seen danger and laughed at it. So, excellent. So, one time, Riley was out on an adventure, riding the rails across the U.S. She'd heard stories of the Willamette Valley, and as she passed through, she saw the rolling hills, the lush forest, and she heard of the mighty Long Tom River. So she hopped off and headed into the woods. And as she approached the Long Tom, she saw its majesty and decided to set up camp for the night. She laid down by the river, put her tiny Riley head on her hobo, put her tiny head on her tiny hobo knapsack, and started to sleep. And that's when she heard the sounds. Now, most of you, if you heard those sounds out in the forest, you turn right back around and say, "No, thank you." But not our Riley. Our Riley was curious, but she was also tired. It'd been a long day, so she put her tiny head down on the tiny hobo knapsack and fell asleep to the sweet, sweet sounds of the screaming eels of the Long Tom. Now, curious for you folks out there, does anyone have a good eel fact they'd like to share today? Any good eel facts? Okay, well, I'm going to tell you something. So, slime? I hear slime. What? You are in luck. I've got some facts for you because I need you to be on board with what we're dealing with here. Okay. So first off, there's over 800 species of eels in the world. We've got this crowd loves an eel. We've got freshwater eels, saltwater eels. They come in different sizes, anywhere from 2 inches to up to 13 feet. Imagine seeing seeing a 13-foot eel in the river. No, thank you. They come in different colors. Some are brown and gray and black. And then we have colorful patterned eels as well. Yeah, I love all this eel shaking. They are known for hunting. One of the ways that they like to hunt prey, they hunt prey in two different ways. One, they lie in wait, so they burrow, and then when their prey comes, they jump up at them. Yeah. Another way is by scent, so waiting for their prey and just sniffing them out, but like in an eel way, because eels don't have sniffers. Eels, they do have snake and worm-like bodies, but they're actually fish, so they have gills. And they breathe underwater, and some of them can actually breathe out of water when they're hunting their prey. So with that in mind, Owen, one tiny little fact. Eels are known for their tiny teeth. A row of tiny sharp teeth to better get their prey. And some eels, they've got a second row of teeth in the back of their throat to really drag down their prey and make sure that they get it. Delicious. Oh, I forgot to add, they also like eating things like lobsters and oysters and shrimp. And although that sounds kind of fancy, they also eat insect larvae and each other. So, fun fact there, share that at dinner tonight. So, with all this, you could understand that when Riley went back into Eugene and asked the locals, hey, what were those sounds? The locals were absolutely terrified. The locals told stories of eels in the Long Tom that were big as giants that ate man and dog. They told stories of missing people and blamed it on the eels. Some said the eels were bad luck. Others said the eels were a harbinger of death. Some thought the eels demanded a sacrifice. Oh, guys, I thought that was a little too far, but okay. We have a sacrifice. Nearly everyone agreed the eels should be defeated. And so they said, wow, vicious audience. And so they said, Riley, will you help us out? Riley said, yeah, of course, sure, no big deal. I'll go check it out. And so, by nightfall, Riley set out again to the Long Tom. And as Riley set out to the Long Tom, as night fell, and sorry, I got distracted by trying to multitask. As night fell, Riley set out to the Long Tom. And as the sun went down, she began to hear the sounds again. And this is where you come in. Give me your best eel screams. Go. Y'all are naturals at the eel screams. Ah! Beautiful. But we know Riley eats danger for breakfast. She was not scared. Well, not anymore, but she used to. She was not scared. In fact, the screams brought her closer. She noticed that they were happening in the rapids. She approached the rapids, looked over, and leaned in. And as she leaned in, she began to hear the sounds take shape. She heard a rhythm. She heard a beat. And it turned out that what Riley was hearing in the river were not screams, but actually the sounds of eels singing Boogie Wonderland by Earth, Wind, and Fire. That Riley loves adventure. But the one thing that Riley loves more than adventure? Dancing. And so, Riley did what any dance party lover would do. She jumped in, and the eels welcomed her. Hundreds of eels writhing and frothing welcomed Riley to the Long Tom Disco Dance Party. They raised her up. She crowd surfed across the eels. She looked across the rocks. She saw a tiny eel DJ with a tiny sparkly hat spinning the best disco tunes from the 70s. It was the most magical dance party the Long Tom had ever seen. But as all dance parties go, they must come to an end. You know, always the saddest part of the night. And as the sun came up, Riley said her goodbyes. She hugged the eels in a giant, slimy, frothy embrace, thanked the eels for their joy, and returned to Eugene to tell them of the discovery. And when Riley returned to the locals and told them what she'd found and that she'd solved the mystery of the screaming eels, the locals were shocked. The eels were not screaming. They were simply singing a nightly sing-along to disco. The locals were shocked and just a little bit ashamed. Riley reminded them, maybe next time you shouldn't be so quick to pass judgment on things that you don't know. The locals agreed, and soon, shortly after that, the eels became a legend. The eels became a legendary performance across the U.S. People flocked to Eugene to see the eels. Eugene became one of the hottest disco outposts of the 70s and 80s that rivaled Studio 54. Studio 54! One could say, because of Riley's discovery of the screaming eels, it put Eugene on the map for hedonism, excess, and glamour in the disco era. One could say. As for Riley, her work was done and she set off on the rails again to find more adventure. As for the eels, their nightly disco dance parties and sing-alongs continued with the rise and fall of disco. And as disco went quieter, so did the eels. As generations of eels grew and the youth took over, the nightly dance parties got quieter. And so, some say today that you can still hear the screaming eels of the Long Tom if you listen carefully. Others say we're all done. So I'll leave you tonight to find out for yourself. As you walk the banks of the Long Tom River, have a listen, and just maybe you'll find a dance party.
So we love many a prop. Oh my gosh, those eels, they are so beautiful. One more little wave. Thank you, Nicole. May we all find a dance party tonight and just scream our heads off. Enjoy. Beautiful, beautiful. We're gonna go ahead and make our transition to our next storyteller. We have Timothy Howland, who is a seasoned storyteller with No Shame, Eugene. And she has a wonderful story for us called Truck Full of Eyeballs. Truck Full of Eyeballs. Can we get our eyes nice and wide and our hands and an applause for Timothy?
Hello, my name is Timothy. I grew up in a small and very mean town in Missouri, and I am the oldest of 21 kids. There are 12 girls, 9 boys, same parents, no twins. And I get a feel, because I don't know if you guys know when there are about 20 people around you, but if you grow up with 20 siblings, you get a sense. And I have a sense that maybe this row right here, this part right here, adds up to about 20 people. And I can count easily if I go, it's Donna, Brian, Heather, Brady, Everett, Musette, Melissa, Richard, Chris, Packy, Andy, Elizabeth, Joey, Samantha, Katie, Sophia, Caleb, Lydia, Mary, Natasha. Yeah, it's about right there. That's all of them. When I was growing up, I would lay in bed at night when I was about 11 or so about 11 kids, and I would think about how many eyeballs were in our house, and how many fingers and toes, and how much hair. There was so much hair. So much hair. And what it would be like if all of those things were separated out into piles. That would be weird, right? And I thought about all of the teeth, like all of the baby teeth. What did the tooth fairy do with all of those teeth? And did she give them back to my parents? And if she did they keep them? and where. Like maybe little Ziplocs for each one of us, like labeled, like maybe they'd give them back to us someday when we got married or something. But that was like a Ziploc, way too organized. But what I really like to imagine is maybe they kept all the teeth in one box together, and at night they would get up and run their fingers through all of the baby teeth and their treasure of teeth. There were so many things. If you think about 20 people, think about everything you carried out to fair this year just for yourself. In my house, there weren't just 20 kids. There was so much of everything. And everything weighed a lot, like a pan of potatoes. It was years before I was tall enough and strong enough to pour the water off the pan of potatoes that we cooked, just for eating potatoes together as a family. Everything was a lot. And yet there were things that we didn't have, like doorknobs. So the tooth fairy, we got worried about the tooth fairy eventually because I was worried she was going to get squashed coming in the house trying to find the teeth that were left under pillows. Kids slept everywhere. Kids moved around at night. It was just a jumble of bodies. And we worried, like, how is the tooth fairy going to find the right kid and the right teeth? The problem too eventually became that we didn't have enough pillows. So there weren't pillows to put the teeth under. But because we didn't have doorknobs, here's a thing that you might not know, that kids are very hard on doorknobs. So we didn't have a front doorknob. It was just a hole in the door, so big enough that the tooth fairy could easily slip in. It was very secure though. When people came into our house, they did not know what to do when they faced this situation, but you just push. It opens right up. So one day I went out, I was coming home from school and got to the door, and there was an envelope taped to the door, and in little tiny kid writing it said, "To Tooth Fairy." And one of my siblings who had lost a tooth and gotten worried about this whole situation had put their teeth in an envelope and taped it to the front door. And after that, that's what everyone did. But multiple people were losing teeth all of the time in this house. And so not only did you face a front door without a doorknob, it had many different little packets of teeth all over the door. And the tooth fairy is not reliable, you know? Like, she shows up when she shows up, and so there would just be teeth there forever, and then every now and then a whole bunch of quarters in the bags all over the door. Our house was weird, but it was packed full. We always felt like the weight of everything, of all of the clothes, of all of the shoes, of all of the kids. I used to play this game with my siblings. We called it sandwich. I would lay on my stomach on the floor, and my sister Donna, the next oldest, would lay on top of me, and then Brian on top of her, and Heather on top of her, and we would stack up and make a tower of kids. I mean, we were pretty little. There weren't 21 of us, because that would have been weird, because I would have been in my 20s by then. Also, the weight would have crushed me, but we were still little. But still, by the time like the littlest kid was climbing this tower trying to get to the top, and they were all starting to wobble, I could barely breathe. And I could feel this weight of family, and I would start moving against it, and they would start swaying and shrieking and screaming, and people would grab my hair to hang on, and then finally I couldn't take it anymore, and I would shove them all off onto the floor and stand up and breathe. The other time we were packed in was in our car. People always want to know when they hear about my family, what kind of vehicle did you have? Well, when there were about 18 of us, our van broke, and my parents went to the next biggest city, St. Louis, to get a car for their family of 18. And so they came back with an Isuzu Pup. It was the smallest pickup truck made at the time. But my dad always wanted a pickup truck, so they just put a camper on the back of it, and we all got in. We had to get in order. It took a few tries of my dad figuring out how we could fit, like Tetris with people in the back of this vehicle. And I had like 2 kids on my lap and my feet straight across. We all fit in puzzle-like. And then we would drive an hour to church in the back of this thing. My parents were in the front with the baby, and there was a window that slid open between the camper and the front of the truck, but they kept that locked. And we would drive down the highway, and people would drive beside us and then look over and do a double take, and we're in there wiggling so many arms, so many teeth, so much hair. And sometimes we would get so claustrophobic driving along, and we'd bang on the locked window. They didn't even look back. And then some kid way at the back where I couldn't reach would really start freaking out, like, get away from me, nobody touch me, get away. And I would say, everybody stretch. And we would all stretch as far as we could for 1, 2, 3, and then release. And then we could make it to church and not kill each other. I don't have any siblings at Fair today, but I have Fair family. And the first time I came to Fair and I heard this term Fair family, I right away felt it and recognized it. Because to come to Fair, you have to be a little bit uncomfortable. You have to carry so many heavy things. You have to work together and you have to be crowded in on every cart and every fart bus and every path and every tent is packed with humanity, packed with family. And that's what makes us family at Fair. I miss my family, I miss my siblings when I'm here, but I feel it, I feel family. The more crowded it is, the more family it feels. I have a favorite sibling story from Fair though, a sibling reunion I saw. I was waiting for friends over by Whitebird, by Main Stage, several years ago, waiting for my friends, watching the crowds go by, and there was a guy dressed as the devil standing there waiting too. And he was painted all red and had his red devil tail and his red horns and his little black beard. And then along the path came a young guy dressed as Jesus in his sandals and long hair and beard. And they saw each other and they were like, oh! And then they gave each other a big hug. But then they separated to about arm's length and looked each other right in the eye. And I swear on Fair, they started crying. They both stared at each other crying. And then Jesus went on down the road and waved. And the devil stood there wiping his eyes. And I grew up Mormon. We went to church a lot. And I've been to Buddhist temples. I've been to lots of different places and felt lots of spiritual things. That was the most spiritual and touching thing I'd ever seen. These two people reenacting this story and reuniting as siblings at Fair. Fair is so many things, but feel the crush, feel the weight of it. Feel the family while you're here. Thank you.
We are family. Thank you, Timothy. And also, I understand that story so much. I'm one of 7 kids, so the eyes, the hair, the smells, they're real, super real. And may we all have all of our hair, eyes, and smells out and about this weekend as well. We have an audience participation opportunity, so Alex in the Butterfly Wings is handing out some note cards and pens. And what we would like to invite you to do is to write a 1-sentence story. A 1-sentence story, it can be about anything. Please try and make it family appropriate if you feel so inspired. I'm gonna give you a couple examples of what a 1-sentence story could look like. So here's one. I bought her flowers as a thank you, not knowing of her allergies. Drama. We also have, my grandmother wore the same perfume. Whole story right there. And then we also have another one. As the ant crawled up my leg, I knew I chose the wrong place to poo. Ah, very good, very good. We love a good poo joke. So as we have our next storyteller, which is Thomas Cleaver, coming up to tell us a version of Stone Soup. Please go ahead and write your little 1-sentence stories on there, and as soon as you finish it, just throw it up in the air, and Alex will come get it from you. So please go ahead and contribute your stories. Please welcome to the stage, Thomas Cleaver! Clever, clever, Thomas Clever!
Tomato, tomato. Hello everybody, my name's Thomas Clever, and I'm going to tell the story of Stone Soup, and then a little bit different, the end of the tale that maybe you haven't heard. So just by a raise of hands, who here has ever heard the story of Stone Soup? Got a few people, but I got a lot of people who've never heard it before. Ah, it's wonderful. So this was one of my favorite stories when I was growing up as a child, and it's become my favorite folktale of all time. So the story goes like this. A long time ago, in a place, in a time not all that different than now, there was a traveler. And the traveler was trying to get home after a prolonged war. And because there was this prolonged war, there was a great famine across the land. And not just a famine of lack of food, but a famine of spirit, a famine of connection, a famine of community. And everywhere that this traveler went, they were met by people turning them away. They'd come into a village looking for food or a place to stay, and they'd be told, there's nothing for you here. Move on to the next town, move on to the next village. You're not welcome. And after a while, the traveler decided, that if they weren't careful, they weren't going to be able to make it home alive. What the war didn't do to them, the road would. And so, like many travelers in this land, they came up with a clever plan. And the next time they went to a door and were turned away, they said, you know what? Don't worry about me. I'm gonna go in the town square and make some stone soup. Well, very soon the rumor spread all across the land that there was a stranger in town making soup. And so the traveler went to the center of town and they drew some water from their well, from the communal well, and fortunately there still was one there. And they filled their pot and they lit their fire, and one by one, people started to gather to come to see. Yeah. I'm gonna pause for the dancing. I know they're all coming for the soup. Much like the travelers have just passed us with their drums, the traveler was passing through towns, through villages, being turned away every way they went. And finally they decided they were going to make some stone soup. And so they filled their pot with water from the town well, they lit their fire, as the water began to boil, one by one, everybody in the village came to see what was going on with this traveler and this soup. So after they'd all gathered, the traveler reached into their pouch and pulled out a stone and made sure that everybody in the village could see the stone. And then they dropped it in the pot. And after a moment or two of letting that stone soup broth boil, they pulled out their spoon and they dipped their spoon in. They breathed in some of that stone soup aroma, took a taste of that stone soup and said, this is some good stone soup. But you know what would be better is some stone soup with cabbage. Well, there was somebody from the village there who was like, you know what, I got a little bit of cabbage back at home. I bet if I bring some cabbage over, I might be able to have some of that soup. Sure enough, they went and got the cabbage, brought it back, chop, 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 into the pot it went. Again, now letting that stone soup with cabbage aroma start to boil in there, take a smell, take a little taste, and say, this is some good stone soup with cabbage. But this one time I had some stone soup with some cabbage and a little bit of spiced beets. That was stone soup that was fit for a queen. Fit for a queen, my goodness, I never had anything that was fit for a queen. And sure enough, someone from the village said, I got a little bit of that spiced beets at home. I'll bring some of that, and that soup sounds pretty good. I don't know the next time I'm ever gonna have something that's fit for a queen. So they went back, spiced beets went in there, and pretty soon, one by one, everybody brought something for the soup. What did you bring for the soup? Carrots. What did you bring for the soup? Peanut butter, what did you bring for the soup? Anybody else bring something for the soup? Eels, lots and lots of eels. Popcorn. Eels. And pretty soon, one by one, every single person in the village had brought something and contributed to the soup. And in the end, the soup was actually quite good, and it fulfilled them. It nourished them in ways they hadn't been nourished for a long time, because not only was it the sustenance that they gained from having a balanced diet in that soup, it was also that they were able to come together in a way they've been holding each other off, living in scarcity. They realized they could live in abundance. So when I was 11 years old, I snuck into the first ever Stone Soup Festival. And at that Stone Soup Festival, they were actually making stone soup. And it was a weekend-long thing, and as an 11-year-old sneaking in the woods, finding this thing was pretty amazing. And all of a sudden, that story that I learned when I was a kid, that I thought was just a folktale, realized that it was something that could be actualized. Fast forward to 2013, and I'm hired to run the Michael Taylor Takeover in Washington, D.C. Who's Michael Taylor? Exactly. And so I talked to the organizers and I said, you know what, this thing is not going to work. I think rather than do this thing, Michael Taylor, just very quickly, he was he worked for Monsanto. He got genetically modified organisms approved without needing any type of testing. So that's the genetically equivalent. Went back to Monsanto, came back to the USDA, got bovine growth hormone approved, went back to Monsanto, and then came in and Obama made him the National Food Safety Czar. Yeah, for real. And so, instead of the Michael Taylor takeover, we decided we were going to do an eat-in. And more than just an eat-in at the FDA, we were going to do a stone soup. And we had hundreds of people come from all over the East Coast, share their stories about why they were there, put their ingredients in the pot, and we fed hundreds of people out of a single pot of soup. And now I travel around the world making big communal stone soups and reminding people how to share, how to be in community. Because one of the things about that story was that people not only, what I take away from it is that sometimes it takes a little bit of trickery, sometimes it takes a little bit of deviousness to support people to go to their best nature. So thank you for listening to the story of Stone Soup.
Thank you so much, Thomas Clever. That was absolutely fantastic. It sounds delicious. I want to eat that popcorn, peanut butter, or eel, and delicious carrot soup. Well, thank you all so much for contributing some stories. We have some stories to read over here. If you've got one, Alex can still come snag it from you. Of course, if you didn't write one too, just feel to raise the materials up and Alex will come get them. So Rachel and I will go back and forth reading the stories. Rachel, could you go kick us off?
Oh yeah, be prepared for crying. We left my puppy at our campsite to go to the country fair, and she got away.
Oh no! The sun was hot. Flirt, it left me beet red. Ooh, flirting with the sun.
Racing from class to class, she was certain true popularity was possible if she could only escape from behind the pustule.
Good word. Very nice. Every summer, I went on the same rope swing and got poison oak.
Every summer?
Every summer, you never learned.
No, learning is not for us. I made my cats fly all the way to Mars, where they ate all the fish and Martians there.
Yummy. The kitten danced and jumped on a roof.
Good for the kitten.
Ooh, playful kitty cat.
Get ready for your best groan-ins. The world is only my oyster when I'm feeling shellfish.
Good groan. Perfect groan
Good
across
groan.
the fair. So I say, what? And they say, ha, buddy, I don't know. A lot unsaid. A lot unsaid.
This is my last one. My life was never the same after I opened the green door.
And I think this is a perfect one to finish on as we are under the trees. Today, I went down next to the redwood tree and wept. Thank you all so much for going to the Storytelling Smorgasbord. We had a feast today. I hope you are full and overfed. We will be back every single day, 1 to 2:15, right here at the same spot. Spread the word, tell your friends, and we can't wait to see you tomorrow. Enjoy the fair. Welcome home. We'd love to see you here. Cheers, y'all.